Hey everybody, Mike WX0MIK here. Uh, let's talk about mobile installations in your vehicle. and as opposed to setting up a rig in your house and saying antennas outside and stuff, where I say to just do it, you need just a little bit more planning on your vehicle because A, you're driving 60, 70 mile or more miles an hour down the highway. You don't want things just things falling apart. You don't want things bouncing around. You want everything to be secure. So you may want to consider that. First of all, where do you mount it? It seems like a lot of ham radios that I've been seeing recently, at least the kind of the more, I'll call them the more affordable ones, they tend to be like one unit, one solid unit. Well, that becomes difficult to mount because you gotta A, be able to see it, but B, need to find a place up front where you can have it. I can't show you my truck right now, but I have this console in the middle, and I don't have room to put that kind of stuff. So when I was shopping, I was looking for one with a remote head. That was probably number one feature I was looking for. Then now you have the radio. Where do you mount it? How do you mount it? Well, if you go through all the manuals, and this is probably for just about any kind of radio, GMRS, um, ham radio, etc. How do I power it? Well, if you look at the ham radio books, they highly suggest you put the positive terminal to the positive terminal of the battery, and the negative terminal to the negative terminal on the battery. Um, don't use the common ground. Don't do this. Don't do that because it will eliminate a lot of the alternator whine and things like that. Um, so first of all, you got to get power to your radio wherever you're mounting it. Then you need to figure out how the heck to get an antenna into the same area as your radio, but where do you mount it? And this is probably depending upon your vehicle, can be a little bit of a challenge. So when I got this truck that I'm driving right now, it's GMC 2014 1500. I was like, okay, new truck, put the mag mount right here, put the mag mount. What? I don't know if it's a customization, if it's a standard feature, if it's something whatever, but the hood is, I'm assuming, fiberglass. I don't think it's plastic. I'm assuming fiberglass. So that doesn't magnet anything. So I had to go back to the drawing board. It's like, well, I can't put it on my roof because I park in a ramp every day, and my truck is tall. If there's only like that much, gap between the top of the roof and the lowest point. So I can't just have an antenna just constantly bouncing dozens of times a day. I tried that on my junker vehicle, and I snapped an antenna off in I don't know, 6 months, maybe a little bit more. So I can't do that. That was 100% out. It was just my garage door, whatever. So I ultimately found a fender mount. So you take one of the bolts out of your hood mount and you slide it in underneath there, and it's grounded, it's solid, and that's where I put it. Okay, great. How do I get it into the truck? And this is where I happened upon, not on purpose, an amplifier installation for this truck. Well, for this model of truck. And they showed me how to run the wires into the truck for the amplifier, because apparently I didn't know anything about amplifiers and big audio installations to begin with, but apparently you're pulling battery power from the battery directly in order to power up your amplifier. Awesome. I found where you put it in, and I found the right place that you just cut a little the little nipple off, and you can shove it through. How to pull the all the trim work and stuff out appropriate enough so I can get to the back of my truck. Mine's actually sitting underneath the seat. So after I got all that figured out, I got it all running. It's been running solid for me for quite a while, and I like that installation because all I have up here is just a head unit, and then I used a ram mount system to mount it up. So it's just sitting here. It's out of the way, and so on. That took me a few weeks to figure out. Just pondering like how do I envision myself using this? How the heck can I run things where I want to? Some people might be better at that. Some people not so good at that. But take your time, figure it out, do some research, ask a bunch of questions, and eventually, maybe collaborate with someone else, and eventually you're going to come up with a game plan on that. Now, what do you need? Well, hell, just like anything else, there's lots of opinions. This is what I did. So I got a NMO mount. That's November NM, November Mike Oscar mount. So that's got the little bigger round like that. And then ultimately, I now am running a signal stock from Signal Stick. That's their mobile antenna using NMO mount. So that is sitting on the front fender of the truck. And true, I have deader areas on the truck because of that. Because if I'm facing away from the repeater, there's some times when I'll be blocking the antenna. But most of the time, I've not had a problem until more recently. And then there's a nipple I cut. I was able to feed it all through. Most of those NMO mounts have a cable attached to it already, and I don't remember how long it was, but I questioned if it was long enough, but it was long enough. It was like 15 feet or something like that, let's just say. But make sure you have enough to route to wherever you need to go. You can drill a hole in the roof. There are lip mounts that they call them, so they just kind of slide in like a lip of a door or your trunk, something like that. So there's lots and lots of options available for whatever's going to work best for you and your particular vehicle. But carefully plan it out, carefully think about how to make it work. Don't be afraid to have a little trial and error. I mean, I'm not saying you don't have trial and error, but that's more in the mounting and where you're going to put it. I'm an advocate for going with the remote head so that you don't have to have this big wide body sitting up and trying to figure out where to mount it, unless you have the place for it in your vehicle, and that is fine too. So, and as far as brands and all that stuff, get what you think you'll want, or get what works for your area. That's what I did, and until more recently, I started to notice. Only recently, I really started to notice some of the shortcomings of my choice. But I've also had it for 5 years. So by $200, I've got my money's worth out of it with all the events and chases and everything else I've been doing with it. So hopefully that helps get you going on that. Again, everyone has an opinion, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion. If you have a better idea, please share.